Hello everyone, Luke here, and I must apologise because I have been a bit of a hypocrite here, as Party Chums rightfully called me out for when we were discussing the chapter on Discord, and how I was saying like, oh, I feel like if nothing tragic happens to the characters in by the end of the series, I'll be disappointed. But then he said like, well, didn't you say that death doesn't necessarily have to happen in order for it to be a good, end? And yeah, I did say that. So I apologize. I apologize for that. I admit I was wrong, and really, it was just me just being like a little bit annoyed that we weren't seeing either Creature or Fruitaber's True Spring Bloomings until now. So yeah, like I said, I'm much more content now. Like, if Koichi or Tayo die, then okay, yeah, that'll be a pretty good way and a pretty ballsy way to end the series. But if they don't die, it's be like, okay, yeah, they didn't die, but at least now we're finally getting to that point where they're really putting in all the stops to take down Asa. They're having to do everything that they can here. All bloomings, all true spring bloomings, which is what I've wanted. Like, just all the true spring bloomings coming together to just take down Asa. And we're finally getting one of the remaining ones with Fruitaber's true spring blooming in this chapter. Now, this would have been pretty exciting for me, except for one teeny tiny little thing, which we'll get to it when we actually do get to the point when we talk about Fruitaber's True Spring Blooming. But anyway, this is chapter 253, titled Transformation. Obviously a reference to Fruitaber's True Spring Blooming, but also like the transformations that have been going on through this entire fight. And yeah, I will admit, it has been a pretty long fight. This fight with Final Battle of Asa has gone on for really long time, and it really has just showcased what it does feel like to really make a final battle feel like a final battle. Even if there were some things that initially that was a bit like, I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Like, no. Now we're really starting to get it. And we see something in this chapter that I did not expect, and it just makes things even more intense, which we'll get to it pretty soon. So anyway, we start off with a recap of the end of the last chapter, where we have basically the bullet inside Tayo that is being governed by both his blooming and his true spring blooming. So yeah, his heart basically has the gunshot in it, but his blooming and true spring blooming are keeping it at bay, but at the same time it's still a gunshot through the heart, so it's gonna need something in order for him to like get out of the situation. So he reiterates by saying, I will not allow you to steal anything from my family. Let's put an end to this once for all. So we are very truly in the end game right now. I could and somebody posed like a prediction of maybe 5 more chapters for this fight, which yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. We still have time to get Koichi's True Spring Blooming in there, and yeah, this was one thing I did actually manage to say to Pyros, like, yeah. All the True Spring Bloomings, like the main theme around them is that they turn the body of the user pure Snow White, and we haven't seen that with Koichi, so yeah, we haven't seen his True Spring Blooming to its full capacity yet. But anyway, one thing I did fail to mention at the end of the last shot is that we start to see the cracks, like quite literally cracks on Asa's face starting to form, showing that yeah, his body is really withering away, and if he wants to keep it as is, he's gonna have to take immediate action. So anyway, they go on and say, this bullet was made from Momo's body and infused with Tsubumi's power. It can cut through any and all Yozakura powers, including the ones that Asa actually has here. And it was once a failsafe in case his dreams weren't enough to completely break Conquest's hold over me. So Tayo is basically explaining this to Asa, just being like, okay, why have I used the bullet at this point? And if I could just regain consciousness, if I could use it to push you, the rest of you out of me, you no longer have a body to return to, because you've used Conquest on me, and you'll just fade into a cloud of Simone crystallization, and you're just trying to parasite. You're just like a parasite to me here. Before long, you're dissipating. You'll dissipate, and that will be that. So it's over, Asa. This battle and your grand ambition. And we see Asa just like at first he's just being like, he's just really solemn about it, like just lamenting on the fact that 300 years of planning, 300 years of just getting this family together, all for this perfect moment to get this perfect vessel so I can keep going on forever. You see him close his eyes, and then you see like the most freakiest of freakiest faces, like even more so than the panel that I always showed like to people to freak out when freaking out. But you see like the pure, unadulterated rage and anger on Asa's face, and I must say, this is probably like the scariest face he has ever pulled in the series. In the nearly 100 chances he's been in the series, this is probably like the scariest face he's actually pulled at this point. So kudos to Gondaria Sensei for pulling off a face of that magnitude. Like, he doesn't even have, like, it's just like you feel the aura on his face. So Asa, whilst he's giving this rage face, says to Tile, and keep in mind this is all happening in their mind, so they've got this psychic link with each other. He goes on and says, I suppose you have the wrong idea. No, I suspect you have the wrong idea about where my rage actually comes from. I may be doomed to die, yes, that is an inevitability, but that isn't the reason. The issue isn't my life, it's yours, and so this is the rage that comes from here. That he's Tao's a combination of the Yozakura powers, and yet he's dying. He shot himself in the heart with Momo's body. It cannot heal now. It cannot heal now. So, yeah. Given the fact that how skilled Nanano is, I'm pretty sure he can probably figure out something. Or maybe they use like a combination of everyone's true spring brews to kind of get Tao's heart functioning again. As maybe it's sort of like an artificial heart. Then again, we'll be going like with the whole he's more machine now than man kind of thing. Which, hey, it'll be something completely different to end the series here. So technically, the Tao that they've known is technically dead, but he's still alive. Somewhat. I don't know how they're gonna get out of this stuff like that. There is like a bullet that has been shot through Tao's heart here. They go on and say, Yozakura Litherans, the sign that a body's reached its limits, are spreading unchecked, and you're at death's door, Tao. Then again, this isn't the first time Tao's been at death's door, because before he even got blooming, he was at death's door when Momo, literally the first thing he does interacting with Tao, presses his hand on Tao's chest, and then just like guys with blood everywhere, just like, what the hell actually happened there? But he goes on and says, why do you yet live, you ask? That is because I yet live. I'm still merged with you, that our hearts, our minds are connected. I am effectively a piece of you, a small twig of soul connected via the fission. If I vanish, you vanish too. So basically, if Asa dies, Tile dies. So how are they even gonna get out of this situation? I don't know. But yeah, so we the bit that I skipped over here was that we have Futaba and we have Shion, and they're just staring at the screen, and so is Mutsumi and everyone, and they're just like, yeah, they're just standing there. They're not saying anything, but keep in mind it's because that they're talking in the minds that only they can hear everyone. Everyone else just seeing like Tile just standing there, just being like silent and everything. But anyway, continue on. They go on and say it is a suffice way to destroy me, but it's basically a suicide mission. That's what Asa calls it. And from what I know, I doubt your family would have approved of that. You kept it a secret from everyone. So yeah, this is basically what Tao did. Like, kept it a secret from everyone. Or also we think they do, because we have Mutsumi here who's just looking at the screen and just being very solemn about this. So maybe he might have told Mutsumi about this, that there is a chance that he is not coming back, and it was something that she was kind of holding back in her, of being like, yeah, okay, I understand, Tile, and yeah, I do get that, but it's just so painful for me. Like, promise me you'll try and at least come back, and that's probably the biggest thing that he could have done. So yeah, Mutsumi kind of had a very she could have either known about Tao's attempt of this plan, or she could have not known it, but had maybe a clear idea of what might have occurred down based on her reactions in this chapter of just being solemn. as Tao goes on and says, if my life is the only price to pay to keep my family safe, then it's an easy choice to make. So hey, you gotta give Galdaya some credit, like going with that thin line of maybe the main character might die, or maybe one of the major main characters might die with Koricho. At this point, it's up in the air. Like, are they both going to die? Is one of them going to die? Are they not? Are either of them going to die? But either way, and like I said, the fact that we are like they are putting in all the stops now to kind of take Asa down, I'm perfectly content with either outcome. Tayo, Koricho, one of them dying, both of them dying, or both of them surviving. Either way, it will. Either way, this finale has been probably one of the best in recent history. And yeah, rounding up this little bit with Mutsumi's reaction to what's going on with Tayo, because she's actually because even though she has no idea what they're actually saying here, she can still see like the bullet that has gone through Tayo's heart here, and it's kind of even though she's doing her best to hold back the tears, being like, I've got to be strong. I'm the head of the Yozakura family. I can't be showing any vulnerability. Just seeing her husband like that in that dying stage is making her just weep. And probably the most vulnerable we've seen Mutsumi in a long while. Probably since the moment where Mo was like going, let's see a smile, and you just saw how freaked out Mutsumi was at that point. So yeah, continuing on, Asa is not buying any of this. He's just like literal foolishness. The idea that the future can only be built upon the suffering and sacrifice of the past was old even in my time. No, it isn't, Asa. You're wrong. Like, you may be a doctor and you may be smart, but you're wrong in that. You're wrong in that sense. Like, yeah. Future. He's not wrong. He's not wrong in the sense that it can only be built upon the suffering and sacrifice plan. He's not wrong in that sense, but at the same time, he's kind of dismissing the fact that a lot of like the suffering. I can't believe I'm bringing this up. The lot of suffering and sacrifices of the past are making the future of today. Like, yeah, if you really think about it, a lot of like suffering and painful memories from the past have what has shaped the future of today. Like World War II shaped the future of today. Like, we're still the world is still just trying to get the words out here. The world is still reeling. That was the word I was trying to. Still reeling from the effects of the Second World War, even to this day. And even in my own personal history, the fact that I went through all of that suffering and pain when I was living away from my family. That's what shaped me into the person I am at this moment. Like, if I hadn't gone through that, I have no idea how much more gullible I would have been in terms of how much I trust people outside of my immediate family, based on my own personal history of those two former friends that I used to have, who I've not seen since that incident, and I hope I never see again. But at the same time, the pain and suffering that I went through in that regard really helped shape me and taught me a really valuable lesson. Kind of same thing here. Like, the pain and suffering that the Yozakuras and Tayo and Kai and everyone have gone through. Yeah, they went through that, but it was important that they went through that, because now they have people around them that they care about. They have friends and family and people that are just going to stick by them through and through. So yeah, while you're saying can only be built upon the suffering and sacrifices of the past was old even my time, it's still relevant to this time. While you're not wrong per se in it being the only thing, you've still got to acknowledge that pain and suffering and sacrifices do help to shape the world today. So Asa continues on by saying, if I can expand the Yozakura's power, I can reduce the world's suffering to a near non-existent. I can bring peace and stability to the world. Asa, you're not Yu Habaha from Bleach here. like talking about like, oh, reshaping the world so that there's no death, there's no reincarnation cycle, it's just a world of peace, stability. You're not Yuha Baha at Asa, and yeah, you just want to like have that, you just want to be like, oh yeah, peace, stability, but it's going to be under my iron fist and how I determine it. Yeah, nobody's buying that answer. He goes on and says, our connection has not yet been severed. All I need to do is return to your body, to inside your body and retake it. And I feel like Asa is going to get that opportunity. He is going to get an opportunity, and that's going to lead us into using Karitro's Truce being blooming, like the last one, the last trump card that the Yozakuras have against Asa. But yeah, so at this point, he's bringing down like a tornado, like meteorite. He's using like I assume he's using like a replica of Fruitsburg's IKEA power. It's basically like her martial arts IKEA powers to bring down this like meteorite of blackness on top of the behemoth. As he says, like, if you say you'll sacrifice your life for your family, then I'll eliminate that family first and foremost, and so you have no longer a reason to die, and therefore I can take over your body. And my compliments on pushing me. No, he's saying, I've given my compliments for you pushing me this far. I should bring my fist down upon you with the utmost respect. Now, whether or not he truly means that I was just trying to get inside Towser, even though he is inside Towser, that's beside the point. I don't think he really believes that. Oh yeah, you have my utmost respect for pushing me this far. I feel like he's just doing that to show just how much egotistical he can be. And he goes on and says, "I do this purely to preserve both our lives and thereby preserve the Yozakura family's nature." Before we have the. So it's turning into a meteorite. We have Shion saying, sea, water, and rocks all bonded together into a meteor. It's a couple of miles across, two will be crushed. And we have, is it Kegel? Say, it's Geg, probably more excited than anyone here, going like, oh, did he get around that one-sided domination thing? Sweet. But then this is where we get to the moment that I've been waiting for to talk about with this chapter. We have Fruitsburg just getting herself ready, like she's just readying herself up here, and it's like, finally, guess it's my turn to throw my hat in the ring with my true blooming here. As we have a flashback from Fruitsburg's perspective where Tao's asking her, like, oh, can I ask you to make a field where it's just me and Asa one-on-one no matter what? And she's just like, yeah, sure, I can do that. As she's really starting to concentrate here, building herself up. And she says, careful everyone, you might feel a bit wobbly. Make sure you stand firm because this is not gonna be something that's in the realms of normality. As she activates her True Spring Brewing, kind of looking a little bit like Rukia's when she goes into a Bonkai, Hatanoto Gami Bonkai. So really beautiful, fairy-like being gone through to this part. So yeah, I really dig her True Spring Brewing design. Now, why am I not as like, oh my god, this is so exciting, this is the best thing ever, considering Fruitsburg is my favourite character in the series? Well, I would have been more excited about this if people on Twitter hadn't posted spoilers of this. Yes, before the chapter was officially released, Twitter people were doing fan art of Fruitsburg's True Spring Brewing, and I was just like, oh my god, that would have been so much cooler if I didn't see that already on Twitter. So, people, really? All things aside, all things about my disappointment about seeing it early before the chapter came out, I really do like it. It's probably one of the more beautiful of the True Spring Bloomings. Like I said, making it look like a fairy type version of Rukia's Hatanoto Game. So yeah, pretty nice. And it just creates this massive force field that disintegrates disintegrates meteorite, and Asa is just there like, what happened? Where did this meteor go? My fist was on my fist it was undone, and we finally get the name of Fruitable Shooting Brewing, Rejection. So it's basically a combination of what's his name? It's basically a combination of the gravity fruit from One Piece and Tatiana's untouchable ability from Undead Unluck, where she goes on and says, whereas magnesium is the ability to accept and embrace everything. So basically, the negate attack, if we're using Yu-Gi-Oh terms here. This is the opposite of it, because like we've established, true spring bloomings, they have to connect with their regular blooming, but be kind of like a reversal of it. So while her blooming is basically the negate attack of Mission Yozakura family, this is kind of like the mirror force of Mission Yozakura family, where it's a complete opposite. The Ayaka in this space now repulses everything around it, rejecting all force that try to act upon it. So yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna use something like I said, the gravity fruit from One Piece. But probably the main inspiration for it is Tatiana's untouchable ability from Undead Unlock, because I'm getting those vibes here. As she says, it's rejecting every force that touches upon it. Force is like, let's say gravity, as she makes the gravity in the area in the realm of her true spring blooming dissipate, causing everyone to float, which is why she mentioned, like, okay, everyone, you better hold on for this and stay firm, because you guys are going to be floating around as if you are in space. And we get various reactions from them. We see Shinzo is just there like, so this is what it feels like to be in space. We have Keigo being like, oh my god, this is what it feels like to be in space. And we just have Nano has probably the funniest reaction, because it's like he's just sitting on a cloud here of just being like, I'm floating. So yeah, I just love Nano's reaction to this True Spring Brewing. And then we have Shion, who's just being like, yeah, I can fly because I've got wings on my back thanks to my True Spring Blooming itself. And we see just everything around. It's not just the Yozakuras in their true spring bloomings, but also we have Koricho and where he is, and he's starting to throw away. Tsubumi, Alpha, and Hiyofumi are also floating away here, and also the gravity where Aika, Mutsumi and I were there, as we see Ayaka just floating upside down. Mutsumi's just under the thing, like the heater blanket thing that's common in Japan. I can't remember the name of that, but we also have Aya's just there like, as if she's trying to like keep herself from being pulled away by a magnet. And Fruitspur says like, oh, there you go, Tail. Nothing will disturb you from now on. So go at him to your heart's content. As we get the final scene of the chapter here, where we have Tail we have Mutsumi going like, thinking about what Tail said to her about not leaving her. She's just there like, I have faith in you, Tail. I believe in our promise. I believe you won't come back. I believe you won't die. And we also have Tail saying, as two men doomed to the same fate. We'll say we have one last shot with our fists. We have him getting ready to power up. He jolts himself into the air and fires the Olga Cherry Blossom Fang right into Asa, and that's where the chapter ends. So I feel like, yeah, this punch is really going to affect Asa. Like, it's going to probably burst him into, like, the Simone crystals, like what Taya said. But I feel like those Simone crystals are just going to, like, regenerate back into each other and then go back into Tail from the next shutter. Because even though it is, like, affecting Asa, he doesn't seem to be, like, really worried, like, the real, like, oh shit, that kind of thing. Then again, with Asa, it's very hard to tell what he's thinking about half the time. So, yeah. What can I say about that chapter? That was a pretty damn good chapter. And like I said, if I didn't see Fruita's True Spring blooming before, if people had a post about it on Twitter, I might have been even more inspired. I might be like, oh my god, I can't believe Fruita finally, but finally, Fruita went True Spring blooming. Something that I've been wanting for a while in this fight. And like I said at the beginning, at this point, all we need is Koichiro's True Spring blooming, and this finale, this final battle with Asa, will probably go down as one of the best final battles in recent Shonen Jump history. And yeah, like I said, I apologise for my hypocrisy, so I'm more content now, like, of Tao, Koichiro, they can survive. They've shown everything at this point. They've thrown everything at Asa. Asa's carried them, but they've thrown everything back, and they still have that one last trump card, just as much as Asa has one last trump card. So whoever wins this fight, it's going to be well earned. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.